Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. Moxfield, the easiest way to store and share your deck lists. And Foil Armor, flatten your foils fast. Hey gang, and welcome to the first game from Edge of Eternities, and today's game features only budget legendary uncommon commanders. I win the die roll and start us off. I draw and play a Plains, paying 1 white for a starport security. Max just has a tapped Racer's Ring, passing to Matt. Matthew's got an island and ships it. Arja plays a tapped Age-Graced Chapel and passes back to me. I play a mountain for turn and pay 2 mana for Boros Signet. I then hit Max for 1 and pass. Max plays a forest and passes as well. Mathieu's got a swamp and pays a blue and a black for Golbez. Arja's got a swamp as well, but no follow-up play and passes to me. My turn 3 has me playing a Plains, and I then pay 4 mana for Battle Screech. I make 2 1/1 flying white bird tokens, and I then immediately flash it back by tapping 3 white creatures and making 2 more bird tokens. Max has a forest, and then casts Tannuk and passes. Mathieu's turn has him playing a swamp, and that's enough mana for his commander, Alpharael. As he comes in, Mathieu draws 2 and discards Power Depot. He then passes, and during his end step, Arja flashes in Resolute Reinforcements, making a 1/1 soldier token. Arja's turn has him playing a land, and paying 2 mana for a Zulaport Cutthroat. He passes to me after that. I've got my bird army untapping, and I draw for turn. I play a mountain, and then cast Sami, Ship's Engineer. Going to combat, I swing my bird tokens at Arja, dealing 4. Going to my end step, because I control 2 tapped creatures, Sami's ability triggers, and I make a tapped 2/2 robot token. Max has a forest return, which triggers Tannuk, but we wait because he follows up with Larval Scoutlander, which is effectively a harrow as it enters the battlefield. This has him sacrificing a land and going to find 2 basics, doing a total of 3 with Tannuk, plus drawing Max a card from the second time the trigger resolves. With a pretty good turn, he passes to Matt. Matt's got a land and casts a Golden Guardian. This triggers Golbez, surveilling Mathieu 1, which he puts to the graveyard. He then passes, and during the end step, Arja pays 1 black for a Corrupted Conviction, sacrificing his token to draw 2. He also drains us for 1 with the Zulaport Cutthroat trigger. Arja displays an Evolving Wilds and passes. I've got a mountain for turn and pay 3 for an Abzan Falconer. I then go to combat and swing my birds at Max, and the robot goes at Arja. Both of them take their hits, and I go to my end step, making another tapped robot token thanks to Sami. Max's turn has him playing a mountain, pinging us, and he casts a Vendo Brush Razor. He then follows that up with a Springbloom Druid, sacrificing a land and going to find 2 more, dealing 2 more damage to us with Tannuk and drawing him a card. He also gets to exile a card off the top thanks to the Brush Razor's ability, which is a forest. Mathieu's turn has him rereading the Golden Guardian and realizing it has to fight his own stuff sadly. He has it and Alpharael fight, taking them both out, and it transforms into a Goldforge Garrison. Responding to this, Arja cracks the Evolving Wilds and also land cycles his Ash Barrens, finding a basic for the field and 1 for his hand. Mathieu then casts a Bag of Holding, surveilling 1 with Golbez again. He then follows up with Nettlecyst, surveilling again, but leaves the card on top once more. Arja has a swamp, and casts his commander with Sir Vondam, which pumps his board as it enters. He decides against attacking though, and passes. I've got a Plains for turn, and pay 1 white to use Outlast on my Abzan Falconer. I then swing my birds at Max for 4 in the air, and he takes the hit. My end step has me making another tapped robot token, and I pass after that. Max brings out Zel Dinch in his main phase, and then plays 2 lands for turn, dealing 2 to his opponents, and drawing a card from Tannuk's second resolution of the trigger. Max then casts Phylath, who enters and makes him 8 plant tokens. After that, he passes, bouncing a land back to hand because of Zel. Mathieu's turn just has him playing a basic, and then casting Marvo and passing to Arja. Arja's got a Swamp, and pays 3 for Morbid Opportunist, and immediately follows up with a Final Vengeance, sacrificing the Resolute Reinforcements as part of the cost to exile Phylath. This lets him drain the table for 1, and draw off the Opportunist trigger. He then swings Serve Vondam at Matt, who blocks with a Nettlecyst creature. This has Arja gaining 4, and he passes turn. I've got a basic, and really want to draw something other than lands at this point. I go to combat because that's what Boros does, and I swing the birds at Max and the robots at Arja. Both just take their full hits. I then pass, making another tapped robot. Max casts Keen Sense in his main phase, and targets Tannuk with it. Considering this is a budget game, this is absolutely terrifying, but luckily Mathieu is ready with a runaway together, bouncing Serve Vondam and Tannuk back to their owner's hands. The Keen Sense then has no target, and goes to the graveyard. Max then recasts his commander, and follows up by playing 2 lands, dealing 2, but sadly only drawing Max 1. Max then continues, casting Living Twister, and uses Zel to station up the Larval Scoutlander, and adds enough charge counters to it so it's active. He then passes, bouncing a land back to hand because of Zel. Mathieu's got a Swamp, and for 3 mana plays out Sai Master Thopterist. He goes to combat, swinging Marvo at Arja. They clash, with Mathieu winning, and both players put the revealed cards to their hand. With Mathieu winning, this lets him play out a 3-fold Thunderhulk from hand for free, triggering both Sai and Golbez, which makes him a Thopter token and surveils him 1. The Thunderhulk then enters, making 3 Gnome tokens, and surveilling Mathieu even more, but he knows what it is and leaves it on top. Arja's main phase has him casting Bastion of Remembrance, making a human token as it enters. He sacrifices the token as part of the cost for Angelic Purge, and uses the spell to exile the 3-fold Thunderhulk. With the token being sacrificed, the table is drained for 2, while Arja gains 2 and draws a card from the Opportunist. He ships it to me after that. I've got a mountain, and cast one of my more expensive cards in the deck with Krenko Mob Boss. I then pay 2, and use the reduced costing activated ability of the Starport Security to tap Max's flying spacecraft. I then swing my birds at Max, and the Abzan Falconer, and the robots go at Arja. Arja blocks 1 robot with the Morbid Opportunist, taking only 6, while Max takes the full 7. I pass, and during my end step, Max discards a land to the Living Twister, dealing 2 to Krenko, and then does it again, taking Krenko out. This draws Arja a card from the Opportunist. Max's main phase has him floating a red mana, and then tapping the Barshrazer to sacrifice the tap land, making 2 more red. He exiles his top card, and then plays a Forest from exile, pinging his opponents for 1. He then uses the Living Twister to return 2 lands to hand, and activates the Twister again, this time to take out the Zulport Cutthroat first, and then my Starport Security. With the Cutthroat hitting the graveyard, Arja drains the table for 2, gains 2, and draws from the Opportunist. Max then casts Will of the Sultai, getting both modes because he controls his commander. He mills his top 3, and then returns 9 lands to the field, blasting each opponent for 1 9 times, plus draws a card from Tannuk. He also adds 15 +1/+1 counters to Zel. Max then swings Zel at me, but he is promptly destroyed by an Immolating Glare. He then passes, and during the end step, Mathieu uses the Bag of Holding to loot a card. Matt's got a tapped Mistvault Bridge for his turn, surveilling 1 as it comes in. He swings Marvo at Arja again, and they clash. They both then hit lands, so it's a tie, and Mathieu gets nothing. His second main phase then has Matt casting a Workshop Elders, and going to his end step, Mathieu gets a Golbez trigger, returning Herald of Anguish to hand, but is missing that crucial 8th artifact to have us lose the life. Arja's got a Plains, and casts a Snarling Gorehound. He then casts Chthonian Nightmare, gaining 3 energy as it enters. He sacrifices the Gorehound, and bounces the Nightmare back to hand plus pays some energy to bring back the Resolute Reinforcements. This also drains the table for 1, and draws Arja a card from the Opportunist. He then recasts the Nightmare, gaining 3 more energy, and activates it once more, sacrificing the token this time, and bouncing the enchantment back to hand. He drains the table for 1, and brings back the Zulaport Cutthroat this time. Arja then goes for the hat trick, casting it a 3rd time, gaining 3 more energy, and then sacrificing the reinforcements, draining the table again, but this time for 2, and brings back the Snarling Gorehound. He then finishes by casting Viscera Seer from hand, and passes. I untap and draw, and cast a Brash Taunter in my main phase. I then play a Command Bridge, tapping a creature so I won't need to sacrifice it as it comes in. I then go to combat, swinging all of my birds and robots at Arja. He blocks 1 robot with the Opportunist, and takes the rest. I then go to my end step, making a tapped robot token with Sami. Max has a ton of mana, and is feeling very confident. He uses the other expensive card in his list, a Cultivator Colossus, and begins to play lands and draw. He goes through 11 instances of this, before finally whiffing. This has 11 Tannuk triggers hitting the stack, and this will take Mathieu and I out, but Arja can survive by sacrificing his board to stay alive through it. But unfortunately, this will leave him open to the creatures, and we realize that Max has it either way, and we scoop it up and move on to game 2. Game review time. So that was the first game filmed with Edge of Eternities. Thanks to Wizards for sending me the product early so we could get these games to you ahead of time, and this was a really fun one. I think without question the strongest card this game was probably Tannuk, because it synergized so well with exactly what Max wanted to do, damaging all of his opponents and drawing him a card potentially extra every turn. I'm not usually big on budget-based decks, but this was a fun constraint. And Sami got to do exactly what Boris wants to do. Sir Vondam was an Aristocrats deck, and Alpharael was some kind of artifact surveil graveyard shenanigans that Mathieu came up with. A lot of fun, really cool, beautiful basics, 10 on 10. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.